All right. So let's start with your life in India. Where were you born and where did you grow up?
So I was born in Patiala, and
Patiala.
but I grew up in Delhi most of my life.
I see. And your uh, your father was you mentioned he was a very famous hockey player and coach. Is that what he did primarily, or did he do something else also?
Yeah, he was predominantly a hockey player. He played hockey most of his life. He was at Mahindra College. He played there. He was a captain of the team there. And then he had moved in a couple of stints to Northern Railways, where he led the team there, and then he also became a coach of Northern Railways. He's coached the Indian team. He's he's produced like 12, 13 Olympic players in his life.
Wow.
So I think at his time he's among the top 30 players in his country because he played left out. And the other left out position was taken by Balbir Singh, I think. So it was a very competitive position, but he was among the top 30 players of his time.
Okay. Did he also play for India or?
He played for India, but not in Olympics.
Not in Olympics. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, he went to the camp he was called for the camp a couple of times. He played some internationals, but he didn't go to the Olympics.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And so for your higher education, you went to IIT Delhi. So were you a very good student growing up?
Till the fifth grade, I was not. In sixth grade, I started just a sudden jump. I started topping my class. So I was always among the top in my class. And and then 11th, I went to modern school for 2 years.
Okay.
So there, I don't know how I ranked, but I was a backbencher. So I think I shocked my teachers when I got into IIT because I was among the 3, 4 people going to IIT.
Right.
And I don't think any of my teachers thought I'll get into IIT. So I think I surprised all of them.
Okay.
But I was not because I moved schools, I was not like in my school prior, I was known. But when I came to the new school, I just kept a very low profile because it's 2 years. I was busy with my boards and busy with JEE.
Right.
So not too many people got to know me, but I think I surprised everybody.
Got it. Got it. And what was your engineering degree in?
My bachelor's was in textile engineering.
So what's textile engineering?
Textile, yeah. And the reason I took textile is because it's not that I want to do textile in my life. It's just I want to stay in Delhi. And so that's only engineering I could get in Delhi.
Okay.
And I knew that, they will sharpen my fundamentals. I'll get a job. And I had no idea what I want to do in life. So I just took what was available to me in Delhi versus going to another city.
Okay. I was not familiar that IIT offered a degree in textiles. That's interesting. Okay.
Yes, they do. They do. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Got it. So you said that in the interview that when you graduated from IIT Delhi, unlike some of your other classmates, at that time, you did not apply to the US. Is that
No,
correct?
I did not. I did not. I had no intent of going to the US, so I didn't apply in the regular cycle like a lot of people do. And it's only when I came to be made aware that I should be looking outside by the astrologer that I started applying. And so I applied to a few colleges late in the game. And I ended up in the US in March versus the regular calendar year of August, September.
I see. So you were like 6 months later you applied.
That's right. That's right.
Got it. Okay. And then we know the story of you're going to Montana State University and in a t-shirt in the middle of March.
That's right.
Got it. Okay. And then when you graduated from Montana State University, you had a degree in computer science?
My first master's was in industrial engineering and second master was in computer science.
Okay, understood. Okay. But you said that you did not write a single line of code in any of your jobs?
I'm a very bad coder.
Okay. But how did they hire you if you didn't write any code?
I have no idea how I got hired. I must have bluffed my way through, or I have no idea. But coding didn't come to me naturally. I was not inclined towards it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I have no idea how I got my first two jobs. My third job was not hardcore programming. It was more to do with supply chain management
Right,
and software in terms of configuring software and stuff like that. So it was not developing code or
right.
writing code. In the first job, it was writing code. In the second job, it was a mix of writing code and doing a lot of analysis because the first company was a software company.
Mhm.
Second company was a logistics company, the
Right.
expediters. They
Mhm.
moved freight. So I had to do a lot of analysis of the EDI systems and whatnot, and then write code for EDI.
Mhm.
Coding part I was not good at.
Mhm.
The other part I was pretty
Okay.
good.
And your third job was at Microsoft.
Yeah, I was there for about a year and a half. Yeah, before I
And were
started.
you part of the IT organization there, or?
That's right. So I
Okay.
was focused on supply chain EDI,
Mhm.
which is how do you exchange information between Microsoft and all its distributors and channel partners and other
Mhm.
partners they were doing business with.
Mhm. Got it. So you basically use EDI to send invoices and so forth.
It was EDI, and then you augment those solutions with more electronic commerce kind of things, not the way we see electronic commerce today,
Mhm.
e-commerce today, but more to as EDI developed, there were tools and things being developed on top of EDI because it was enabling electronic transmissions
Mhm.
versus paper-based transmissions. And
Right,
so there were tools and systems built on top, and I did that too.
right, right. And then at that time, you had already decided to start your own venture.
That's right.
And then you left Microsoft to do that. What was the problem that you saw that you could solve, and what was the solution?
So the initial problem was the same I was trying to solve at my prior company, which is a tool. When you do electronic transmissions or transactions, you have to define that information because even though you follow a standard is a superset. You have to define a subset of what you're really going to exchange
Yeah,
and what will be that information. So there has to be a handshake
yeah,
to understand what the electronic transaction transmission look like,
right.
sending a purchase order claim or whatever. So you have to define it.
Mhm.
And then once you send that information, it has to be processed
Right,
electronically. You have to process those transactions. And then you have to manage the flow of those transactions. It becomes a complete system of defining it, having a runtime engine to process those transactions, and then having a console to manage and look at the control center of the transaction flow.
right.
And so we did the design time tool first, then we went to the runtime tool, then we went to the management console. So then we built the whole system around electronic flow of information.
Got it.
Problem
And
was that those tools were
mhm.
were the I started with the design time tool. There was only, I think, one key player, and I already knew them. And I said, they're not innovative, progressive, expensive. And
Mhm.
so we competed with them. We took care of them pretty well. And then we started building stuff, and then we decided verticalizing in healthcare and became a healthcare company. But we started as a non-healthcare company, and then we
Right.
verticalized into healthcare about 4+ years into the company.
And why did you decide to do that? What was specific about healthcare that made you verticalize?
We were at influx. The company was going through turbulence, so we were pretty much at the verge of bankruptcy
Mm.
because we had misread the pipeline. Our major customer had lost their funding, so we lost that 70% of our revenue. So we were in the doldrums. So we were really in a bad state. And so what we decided was, okay, what do we do next? And so while we had downsized, we said, how about we take our expertise and only focus on healthcare? So
Mm.
same product, same technology, same tool,
Yeah.
extending that, but only for healthcare.
Mm.
And then we built very healthcare specific nuances in the product.
Mm.
And so the pivot was because we were going through existential crisis.
Got it. Okay. And so, but healthcare is also well known for long sales cycles. And so you were able to, and did you find that in the healthcare space there was less competition, and so
No,
it made
so
sense for you to focus on healthcare?
no. So number one, healthcare is a slow moving industry.
Right.
But being new entrants and being humble, we said, because we hardly knew much about healthcare. So we said, let's learn healthcare.
Yeah.
Let's learn from our customers. So So we worked very patiently, one customer at a time. So every customer mattered to us. We learned a lot from every customer. So it was we had a very patient approach. Second is we had a very straight line approach. Let's just take one customer, make them succeed, another one. The thing about healthcare is that 10 customers buy a product, the rest of the industry will, if those 10 customers are happy, because they call each other. They all know each other, they call each other, they'll bump into each other and saying, hey, this is right, et cetera, et cetera. So the credibility we build with every customer being successful, no matter what the odds were, we made every customer successful, service the heck out of them. Everybody came to us, so much so that we're winning 10 out of 10 deals. But we hardly lost a deal. After I think 3-4 years or so into the game, we killed everybody. Every competition from IBM to Vitria to TIPCO, nobody could compete with us, none. And we won every deal because we took one customer at a time. We built healthcare nuance, we built the relationships, we built the references. We were great on support and servicing implementation. We delivered what we said. We delivered great value for our product. And we became so good that we pretty much conquered the whole market in this space. No, there was nobody else left.
Right. So this was, as you said, at the time when you lost your major customer and you decided to focus on one industry, and the way you came out of it was, as you said, one customer at a time till you got to about 10 customers.
Yeah. So
how did you generate enough cash flow to keep yourself alive?
So we ran a pretty frugal shop. So as when we hit doldrums, we narrowed down on our core product, and we got our expenses in line with what revenue we thought we could get from that product, right? So we brought the burn down extensively, and the revenue from this product could cover it. In the process, we would start building the next product on the side, and I think we did a phenomenal job of, building a product that really resonated, building a product that was innovative, building a product that had great value, ran a very frugal shop, very, very frugal shop. And we had offshore, we had, people in Eastern Europe, et cetera. So we were able to do the cost arbitrage game. So I think I ran all the, the sales I ran myself for a number of years. So the very fact that we knew our customer well, we serviced our customer really well, we ran a very frugal shop, and the demand was picking up because HIPAA had become a standard. And HIPAA as a transactional standard was being mandated by the government. And we just got ahead of the pack. And so that wave allowed us to ride where we just never looked back. Once we got out of the doldrums in 2005, we never looked back. Every year we did better than before. The recession of 2008 didn't impact, no recessions impacted us. During the recession, we even get more aggressive because we thought this is, we'll be very conservative and slow and thoughtful in the regular times. When the recession hit, we saw great opportunity, became more aggressive because we just had a lot of horsepower. We didn't burn everything in the process of creating a company. Yeah, we just ran a phenomenal shop. Every decision was made. I think we made a lot of good decisions. We learned a lot because we got hit so hard that we knew how to survive on just rice.
Right.
And so while everybody else was having rice and a couple of the dishes, we were satisfied with rice, but we saved the money on the other dishes.
Right.
And started conserving it.
Right.
And while being highly motivated, highly focused, we were in like we were in a meditative zone. It was a very well. If I look back, I see it. We were a very well run shop. At that time, you don't know it because you're in the middle of a tornado, right? But we ran a very good shop. People very dedicated. Our attrition rate was like 1%, 2%, all the way till I transacted the company, or a year before that. Our undesirable attrition rate was 1%, maybe 2%, which is unheard of. So people didn't quit. We took great care of our people. We built a very good, strong culture, a lot of bonding. So from building the team and keeping them together to being a very frugal shop, keeping customers very happy, we run every deal. I don't know how we didn't lose a deal. We had become so good at it.
Right.
And the product becomes so good and the credibility so high that no matter where you went, the customer, the moment they called the customer that they knew had a product but were not our references, they just gave our name saying, hey, you just got to pick them, full stop. Because the thing is, like, you could not go wrong by picking us, because while others were floundering and this and that, if you picked our software, you never went wrong. Other
Okay.
companies went out of business, got acquired, sunset the product. We just
Yeah.
kept innovating. And so they said, you can't go wrong with them. And so everybody says, hey, we got to make a decision we can't go wrong with, and you have great credibility.
Right, right.
So people just defaulted to our decision,
That's
no matter
great.
who they brought to the table to negotiate, to keep us honest. The choice from the very beginning was that we got to buy Edifecs.
Right, right.
A
Awesome,
a
awesome.
lot of decisions came together in the
Right,
process.
right, right. So let me go back again a little bit. I understand that the initial funding for the company came from yourself. So did you basically have to max out your savings and all that to because you said you hired a team out of Ukraine or Eastern Europe. So did you pay for all that yourself?
Yeah, so I used my credit cards. I had some consulting money, used all of that. No investors. Yeah. So normally it's starting company on a credit card, no investors, making it a unicorn is quite, and going through the existential crisis of 2000, 2001.
Mm,
Makes for a very interesting story. And it really builds the character of the company, the people in the company, myself.
right,
It was a great life experience, I would call it. Like
right,
it made me into who I am, and I don't know if I could do it again. But it was I should have been dead from everything we went through, all the ups and downs and everything, and not being I don't know how to raise money. I didn't know investors existed. I was not an executive. I didn't run any company, any business
right.
unit. I didn't even run teams. But the fact that learned everything, survived everything, got a group together that bonded very well,
Mhm,
and the fact that I made myself. I was always the last one to eat, always,
mhm,
always, always,
mhm.
and that carried very well with people because they start trusting everything I said, because saying every decision I made was in the interest of them and the company
Right,
and the customer. I never made a single decision in my interest, whether getting paid, even buying a car for that matter.
right.
While I had the cheapest car in the company,
Mhm,
and for the longest time, till we reached 100 million revenues, I was driving a $3,000 Suzuki.
mhm.
And everybody will ask me, Sunny, when are you going to buy a new car? And I say, okay, when we reach 10 million, then 25 million, then 50 million. At 100 million, I bought a car. And that's because I was interviewing a guy, and my car, he couldn't fit in my car, and my car was manual, windows, and the AC was working, not working, radio didn't work. I said, okay, maybe it's time to get a new car now, because if I'm entertaining interviewing people and they see they can't even fit my car, let's get something more comfortable. So I bought a
Right.
car. So
That's great. That's a great story. Great story. So at no point did you think about raising investor money?
when we want to raise money, nobody gave us money. They
Mhm,
didn't want to raise money, then everybody want to give us money.
mhm.
So we didn't raise any money. There was GE had put a couple of $1 million, but only for a couple of years. But that was like a 2-year transaction. But no, I never raised money as investors in a company. No, never did
Right.
that.
That's great. That's great. So as you now, you started with EDI, and then EDI focused on healthcare.
Yeah.
What has the company evolved to? How would you position the company today?
So the first company today, I think, it's a pretty prized asset in the healthcare industry. It was grown now from the time when I did the transaction, and it's growing pretty nicely. It's a highly profitable company, 45% EBITDA margin. We had made the company into about a 15-20% top line growth to about 45 to 48% EBITDA margin company. When time we transacted, it is still growing at 10 to 15%, a few percentage points less because the bigger company. So it grows between 10 to 15% annually.
Mhm.
EBITDA margins are still 46, 47, 48%.
That's amazing.
Um,
Yeah.
it surpassed, I think, 200 plus million. It's almost a $2 to $250 million company now, somewhere in between.
Right. So,
It's a very priced asset.
how do you position the company? What does the company do today? If you have to go to, yeah.
Today Edifecs is known in the healthcare industry as a company focused on interoperability. That means enabling the flow of healthcare information seamlessly between our customers and all the other healthcare partners they do business with. So we are centric to the payers.
Mhm,
So 70 of the top, or almost every top payer in the country is a customer of ours, but they
mhm,
transact with the government, with employers, with providers, hospitals, etc. So they exchange a lot of information. That information is all managed and controlled. The flow of that is managed by us. So it's an interoperability company. It's a company that has built workflow solutions to make workflow more efficient in the healthcare industry. So workflow might be around, let's say, enrollment information, enrollment processing of enrolling employees. So when employers enroll new employees or change health plans, the health plan has to accommodate all of those changes on a regular basis. So we have a workflow solution on enrollment. We have a workflow solution on encounters where the government will give money to the payers to manage the population from a risk management perspective. They give them a certain amount of money and saying you manage this population and whatever that is. And so we do encounter processing. We do population payment, which is now the whole industry eventually, slowly now, but eventually move to pay for performance versus fee for service. Right now, you go to a doctor, you pay for every time you go to a doctor. Whereas eventually it'll be the doctor paid X sum per person, saying you manage a customer however you want to, unless there's a critical condition. In which case, if the customer comes back to you, it's your problem. So you manage them so well that you make more money. So pay for performance is now becoming more dominant versus fee for service. So we have a solution around that. So it's all around how information flows. And the information flows, how do you build value-based solutions to make the operational side of the health plan more efficient? Through encounters, through enrollments, through population payment, through population integrity. So there are many of these concepts where healthcare is not efficient, but you have to operationally make it more efficient, right? Administratively make it more efficient. Our solutions do that, sitting on top of our data management interoperability platform. So that was a gateway, and on top of that, we have workflow solutions. So it's a data interoperability and workflow solutions company in healthcare.
Got it. By the way, are you familiar with a company called Coziva?
Coziva, no. What is it?
Cozeva. Okay.
Dr. Chris, sorry. How do you spell
it? No, my CTO for my former company started this company, and they
spell it again for me, Shirish.
Cozeva. Coziva.
Is it based in Seattle?
It was started in Bay Area. The CEO now lives in Seattle. His name is Shaibal Roy.
Okay, no, I have not. I'm just
They're doing very well. They're doing very well.
Oh, I wonder what.
I was curious if you happen to know them.
Coziva. Cozeva, right?
Yeah. Did you find it?
Yeah, I found it.
It was known as originally as Applied Research Works, but they changed the name, I think, to Coziva.
Then they do clinical quality and risk measures. So they are not in a space that we do.
We do, okay.
Yeah, so it's a tough problem to solve.
Yeah.
So it's I know if he's in Seattle and if he wants to meet up with me and
I'll let him know. Yeah, he's a very sharp guy. He's from he was from IIT Kharagpur.
Okay.
Was my CTO for my first company.
No, I'd be happy to connect me. I'd be happy to. He can leverage me for anything he wants to bounce off because
definitely.
Because I lived healthcare for a while and gray hairs because of that. So happy to if I can assist him in any bouncing, being a sounding board, happy to do so.
Yeah, that's great. Appreciate that.
Happy to do that.
Yeah. So now in I think 2020 or 2021, you decided to basically take private equity money at a fairly substantial valuation, and then you are retired, after a year from your company, and obviously still involved in the board, but no longer as CEO. What made you decide to pursue that change?
Yeah, so I think I had no intention of selling. I really and every year in the last 5 years before the transaction, I will ask my leadership team, hey guys, because there was a lot of interest in our company, a lot of people always talking to us, coming and getting to know us and getting data from us, etc. And so every year I ask them, saying, hey, how are you guys doing? Do you want to do a transaction, etc. And every year saying, yeah, Sunny, it'll be nice, but your decision. So they left it to me. And because I knew the company had a lot of runway. 50% EBITDA, we were on track to making the company a 50% EBITDA margin company and doing 20% top line. So and we didn't see any roadblocks in our execution. We owned the market that we owned. And when I asked them when the interest became it was quite a heavy interest, I said, hey, there's an interest in now again. A lot of people are asking, what do you guys want to do? So I saw they were a bit tired. They never asked for saying, Sunny, yeah, it'll be great, because I talked to every one of them individually. And I got a sense they are, because for me it didn't matter, but for them it matters, because they had my entire leadership team was with me for between 7 to 25 years. So 7 was the youngest, right? And so I saw that they've signed off their life to me. That means they know that I'm going to take care of them. And so I thought, it'd be good to make them independent, to kind of get them some diversity in their financial position and make them a bit financially independent. So that was the primary motive, to make my leadership team whole, because we were giving very nice salaries and bonuses, because we were doing profit sharing at that time. But they're saying, Sunny, let's do it, because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. So when I listened to them, I said, this team is ready to get some rewards. Yeah. That was the primary reason why I did the transaction. For me, it didn't matter.
Okay.
And
so why didn't you continue to run the company?
Because I wasn't running the company in the first place. So for the last, we did a transaction 3 years ago for 5 to 7. So I went to India in 2014. By that time, I'd formed an operating council with my top leaders. And they were running the company very scrappily in the beginning, because they just come together. But going to India became quite interesting, because now they were forced to make decisions. I was going back and forth every 3 weeks. So they had to run the company themselves. And so the company was being run by the operating council, not by me. I was spending less than the last 5 to 6 years of Edifecs. I was spending less than half an hour a day on the company. That too, because I was approving purchase orders, hires, etc., not because of running the company. The only thing I did not do is I didn't make Venkat the CEO, which I could have, because he was my best leader of the lot. And so when we signed the company, when we transacted the company, I told the guys, look, I'm not running the company. I spend half an hour a day. I'll recommend that you officially make my number 2, Venkat, as a CEO. So I told them that. I said, I'm not spending time. I will not spend time, because I already started my other company around. I said, the company's running just great, and this is not something that I want to do. And so I would suggest you do. So they had said, okay, Sunny, you stay there for a little time, which was a year or something like that. And I think a year. I said, at the end of 1 year, you make Venkat the CEO. That will allow you to very smooth transition, etc. And actually, I did it even quicker. I did it in like 9 months or something like that, or 8 months, something like that. And he took over, and then was very happy with him. Venkat has great potential. He's a very cerebral. He's a low-key guy, very unassuming, but he's a very solid guy. So he's taken it over, and he's doing well. The board is very happy with him. But that was something that was always in the works. I had no intention of. I was not even running the company to start with for many years prior to that, since 2015, 2016.
I see. So that's when you started Roundglass, I think, right?
I formed Roundglass in 2015 timeframe, but I really there was 3-4 years we did a lot of experimentation, investing in companies, understanding well-being. We did a lot of inefficient things of how to create a new company, because I was solely focused on well-being. I knew that the world needed holistic well-being. And so I started dabbling, experimenting, researching that. But the true Roundglass started in the last 3 years. But yeah, from a formation perspective, we might be in our 7th year. But from a company we desire to focus and start doing stuff in the last 3 years.
I see. I actually just downloaded the Roundglass app yesterday, and looks very interesting. I'm going to, my wife and I do some limited amount of meditation. I don't have the patience to do meditation for too long.
Any feedback you and your wife want to share, I'll be happy to meet.
I'm a product guy, so I will spend some good quality time with it. And
butcher it for me.
yeah, absolutely. And we do want to spend time on meditation and stuff like that. So it'll be a good app.
There's a lot of good stuff we're building next 2 years. So whenever we meet next, I'll tell you about the things you're doing in the next 2 years. It's quite phenomenal.
Okay, got it.
Quite phenomenal, yeah.
Right.
Quite phenomenal.
Now, there are a lot of companies in related spaces. You have Calm and other meditation apps. You have yoga apps. How are you thinking about this space and competing with them? And also, I didn't see anything I had to pay for with the, at least again, my usage has been very limited so far, but I didn't see anything where I had to actually pay for something so
Yeah,
far.
so it's I think the trial is 2 weeks of the app.
Okay,
That's
okay.
number one. Number two is that um the way our worldview is like that, is like this. People don't know how to live.
Mhm.
And how do you show people how to future-proof their life? Which is, life will throw you all kind of curveballs, number one. Number two, people don't know how to eat, don't know how to sleep, don't know how to breathe. If you
Right,
have stress, anxiety, relationship, parenting, difficult emotions, you
right.
want to cultivate healthy habits, etc., where do you go today?
Mhm.
Right? And if you want to go to meditation by itself, won't solve it. You want to go to music, won't solve it. You just want to go to food, won't solve it. You have to bring your how to live concept, everything together, which is, if you want to deal, for example, your goal is stress management, because hey,
Right,
you get stressed easy. So
right.
we will say, okay, through structured or unstructured way. Structured means I will tell you step by step. Unstructured
Yeah,
means do any of this, or you can explore your own eventually,
yeah.
right? So how can you, through these different mechanisms of meditate or different practices, meditation, journaling, breath works, gratitude, food, music, yoga, etc., if you look at all these practices, how can you mix and match these practices to solve that particular goal in a
Mhm.
structured, unstructured, exploratory manner? And then
Right.
depending on how we learn about you, what the efficacy of the content is, what works for you, doesn't work for you, or the microservice that we do, we
Yeah.
will then start tailoring the page for you. Now that's the 25 goal. Some things are there, a lot of things are in the works. That's the next 2 years. What you will get by end of 2025 is as following. You will be able to saying, I want to deal with stress of this kind. We will, as we get to know you, we'll know exactly what you gravitate towards, what depth of content, what
Mhm.
duration of content, what type of content, and what type of practice. We'll
Mhm.
start feeding you that, and we'll walk you step by step. Or
Mhm.
we're saying explore, or we'll allow you to do customize it. You can customize your own
Right,
package, like in my morning routine, you can customize that.
right.
And not only that, we'll give you social groups, local and
Mhm.
global can create, and a marketplace. And we're going to bring that together.
Right.
But
Got
there
it.
are much of other things also I can talk when we meet. But we are moving saying, hey, if you just have a singular app like meditation, calm headspace, or fitness,
Yeah.
they will not do it. Will those parts will not work, and they're already showing people. They're nice because it's like, I like sleep story, not me. That somebody says I like sleep stories. You can help me sleep. Fair enough. Go to sleep.
Mhm.
Meditation is not authentic. It's all whitewashed. If you really look at calm headspace, insight timer, etc., they're all whitewashed. They're all white people showing how to meditation. And the
Mhm.
and the best teachers don't exist in the US. The
Mhm.
best teachers are not in the US.
Right.
So R is authentic. We don't go after celebrities. We go after authentic teachers. We find them all across the world. Our
Mhm.
content is a lot more potent in terms of relevancy of content,
Yeah.
right? What we suffer today is we're getting a UX under control. The UX UI is an issue. Some of the navigation and flows and the structured, unstructured ways, all
Mhm.
those things that have to be done will come in the next 2 years.
Okay.
And by end of 2025, we'll have an app we're saying, you know what? And then we'll add all kinds of things, parenting a kid, a teenager, etc. Relationship with a spouse, with your children, with your colleagues, with your leader, etc. So we'll dive into those issues. And there's nothing for that.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do saying it's showing you how to live. It's not show it's and living means that you deal with the day-to-day things that life throws at you, and you're able
Mhm.
to handle that. And the
Right.
younger you start,
Right.
more prep you are. And it doesn't say I'm going to help you code better or make better decisions, etc. No, you'll make them, but we'll make you, we'll basically elevate you both physically,
Mhm.
mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We'll eventually incorporate financial and professional well-being. We'll eventually incorporate planetary well-being,
Mhm.
community well-being, and social well-being. So the 8 pillars of well-being will all be under the engine, the
Mhm.
car. So it'll help you in all of those areas.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's living. How do you
Right.
live? How do you give back? How do
Right.
you interact with your society? How do you interact with your tribe, with your parents? How do
Mhm.
you take care of the planet? All of these things are part of your holistic well-being.
Right. Right.
We believe there has to be one app for that.
Got it. Okay.
There
Okay.
is
So
one life, you do one day at a time, you're one individual, you should have one app.
got it. Got it. Now, so far, I've not come across any kind of 14-day trial. Maybe I've not tried,
So
everything,
so we
but
have we have a system where we are not we were discussing yesterday that we are given the 14-day trial, but we're not telling people it's a 14-day trial.
Yeah.
So there's a bug in there. It's getting resolved in the
Okay.
few days.
Okay.
But here's what it is. If you have any issues, your wife have any issues, just ping me.
Yeah.
I will take care of it for you.
Okay. Okay.
Just ping me. Just send me a quick email, and I will take care of it in the same day.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
No worries.
Good. No, that's great. That's a great vision that you have. So I wish you all the luck and success on that.
Thank you.
All right. So, and you talked about your foundation and your what you're doing about sports and sustainability. That's great. That's great. Love the focus on those areas. How much time do you spend between Roundglass, the corporation, Roundglass, the foundation, and the
So the reason so Roundglass is living and giving. So living is our app and giving is our giving initiatives. The reason I started the giving part is because I believe that every company must take ownership of social issues. They should take ownership and not just write a check to foundations.
Right.
And I actually don't believe in the foundation model. I believe it's for the amount of money that is donated every year in the world, 400 billion in the US itself, and the amount of problems that still persist.
Yeah.
And humanity, I believe people are jumping off a cliff right now. People don't know how to live. Teenagers have no mental resilience whatsoever. And I didn't even know what stress was.
Right.
Growing up, I didn't know them. And I went to very stressful situations, IIT or growing up in India, etc. And so the thing that I don't have very strong opinions about, right? And so my take is every company must take ownership of social initiatives. They can work with foundation. They can say you become my implementation partner, but they own the problem. And saying, and give it time, give it 20 years, saying over the next 20 years, we're going to solve this problem for good. Make it future like fully sustainable. So we took ownership of those social initiatives, the first phase being 20 years for each of them, for Roundglass Sustain, Roundglass Sports, Roundglass Foundation work in Punjab. All three are giving initiatives. And with very audacious goals that really enable the well-being of a certain sector. So Roundglass Sustain is well-being of the planet, but it's India-centric. Roundglass Foundation is Punjab and well-being of the 12,000 villages of Punjab, right? How do we do that? Sports is, again, creating academies that focus on the holistic development of the child, of the athlete, in the process producing great athletes, right? You bring the best talent, focus on them and saying, hey, don't worry about it. Play your sport, we'll get you your first job. It's wonderful. I'll play my heart out. So we're doing things very different. I think we'll show India how sports is done. And maybe we'll probably leave a mark in the world of how academies should really be run. When we achieve our maybe 10 to 12-year mark, I think we'll get known internationally. But India will conquer every sport we go into will like our football, our soccer, youth academy, all the age groups are #1 in the country. Our hockey team, we just formed under 16 elite team. We have a lot of development grassroots centers. The elite team came first, second, third in every tournament in India in the first year itself.
Wow.
Next year, I think we'll win every tournament. They will come under 17. So under 17, we'll win every tournament. We're playing we're playing under 19. All our under 16 we're playing under 17 and under 19 tournaments. So we're not playing them in that age group. We're playing in the next age group.
Right.
And that too, they're coming first, second, and third.
Wow.
Right. And so imagine, by end of 2025, we'll go from 13, 14 development academies to 25 development academies in Punjab, from about 26 grassroots to about 75 grassroots academies in Punjab. And then we'll have under 17, under 16. Every year we'll add another year. And if, either sports or state of sports is really shit in India outside of cricket, but within 1 year, I was surprised myself that every tournament we have entered, it's 1, 2, and 3, and we're playing in the next age group. And so next year they'll start leveling up a little bit.
Sure.
I don't see any reason why. In tennis, we now have 4 players who are #1 in India in 3 short years.
Oh my God.
#1 woman player, under 16, under 14, one more. So we have 4 of them. The 4th one just was announced. So 4 of them are #1, and we're just warming up. We haven't built our infrastructures yet. We're building it over 200 acres. We're building a complete sports complex. So again, how do we, when you do that, and that football goal being taken into the World Cup by 38, imagine India in the World Cup in 38. What does it do to 1.6, 1.7 billion people at that time? It is the collateral benefit to the youth saying we are the best in the world, or among the best in the world. The collateral benefit is huge, right? And to do that, a lot of things have to go right here. And those things here will have a trickle-down effect. But the culmination being here and saying, then India starts focusing, oh my God, we are in the World Cup. For the first time in the history of our country, we are in the World Cup. Well, that's huge. And then we'll bring the World Cup to India. Because we'll have the rights to ask for
That'll be
it.
great. No, that's a great vision.
Yeah. So see, if you look at that, it's all well-being, right? There's no money for me in it.
Sure, yeah.
I couldn't care less about my name. It's about how do we give back?
Right.
And all of us in our own ways, we have ability to give back.
Sure.
Some have restrictions, some have less. I have different restrictions. If all of us start thinking like that, saying, hey, there's only so much we can take with us in terms of giving to our kids and whatnot.
Right.
We start looking like that. I think there's no problem we can't solve.
Yeah.
Lifetimes. In our lifetimes. And that's my intent. That I'll take certain problems, build a great team around it, put my resources, put my talent, put the team's resources, get maybe other like-minded people and saying, let's solve these problems. And then inspire others to take their problems and solve their problems.
Right. Yeah.
They believe in.
Makes sense. Have you, changing topics a little bit, do you do any investment in startups at this point?
Yeah, we did a lot of investments in India. We didn't like it, but we do investments over here. We have slowed down a little bit for another year, but we'll look at investments. We look at very good investments, and I'm rejigging my investment team. I had an investment team that didn't.
Okay.
So we're a complete family office. We have an investment team. We look at everything. But yeah, we are keen. We one of the categories is startups.
Right. Okay.
So we do look at startups and we do invest in them. Yes.
Right. And are the startups? Do you see a lot of Indian founders in the startups that you look at or fund?
In the US, all kinds. In India, was all Indians.
Of course,
we have an appetite to invest in good entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter if they're Indian or not.
No, I understand.
But
given your network, your personal network,
you end up having more Indians because you just end up knowing them more, just like you're saying.
Yeah, right. Got it. Okay.
But yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, got it. So why do you think, I don't know if you know some of the stats, but Indians as an ethnic category are number one in terms of creating successful startups. What is your sense for why Indians have been the most successful?
Well, two thoughts come to my mind. One is, I think a lot of startups are created by people who have come from India, and some, of course, now more and more because the Indians have grown up over here, born and grown up.
Yeah.
I think number one is that the discipline of coming from half the world away, and you're the best of the best. The best of the best come here, right? And you put them, they come half the world away, and the discipline with which they have been raised, think analytically, math being very strong, the hunger of coming from 1.6 billion people and saying, shit, I got to make my life among 1.6 billion people. The desire and the hunger and the fire is unmatched. That's number one. Number two, the work ethic that you develop as part of that, right? And the opportunity this country provides that if you have an idea, you will have access to things to realize that idea, people, human resources, capital, stories, mentors, etc., is unparalleled in the US, unparalleled. Third is that immigrants look different, Indians look different. So saying, hey, you know what, maybe I need my own boss. Fourth is that we are English speaking.
Yeah.
It's an advantage over any other immigrant community that is not English speaking.
Right.
It's not that Chinese are not any smarter, we are smarter than Chinese. None of that. But we just, our DNA of being strong analytically, going through a very strong education system. Even people who are raised here, the parents are very tiger parents, right? English speaking. And I think Indians in general, you have 1.6 billion people, you'll produce a lot of smart people. And you put them in a pressure cooker environment, you will get the best of the best. And a lot of times it's not how smart you are. It's a question of two things: how resilient you are, and how hard you're working to do the things over and over again so that you do it better than anybody else. Right? Indians also have a safety net of their parents that if you lose your job, you'll have a room, you'll have a bed to sleep in, you'll have food to eat. Don't worry about it. Right? And then when you see other successful Indians, they say, my God, why can't I do too?
Right.
If my friend, my uncle, my friend's parents, etc. I think lastly, the idea that comes to my mind, Suresh, and that maybe I can look into it, is that perhaps it's an opportunity to build a nexus, a community of Indian entrepreneurs who are doing startups in the US, form a network of them so they can cross-pollinate and cross-leverage and cross-intermix with each other. So whether I'm in New York or Silicon Valley or Boston, etc., that network effect, that if you are a founder, an entrepreneur of Indian origin, you belong to this network and you get access to this network.
Right.
Now, when you create that network, then every VC is saying, oh shit, why don't I have access to this community? Because this is where some of the best companies are going to come from. I think there's an opportunity to create that.
Yeah.
And we can discuss that.
That is starting to happen. I mean, there's now a network for angel investing that is happening across Thai chapters in the US. And
we can talk more about that, but I think it's a great opportunity over the next 10 years to do something where it brings this community of tens of thousands of entrepreneurs together, even have an annual event where they come together, they talk, they mingle, they can be individual chapters and can be a very vibrant community. And then that community can then also tie up with India in terms of resources, Indian entrepreneurs, etc. So there's an opportunity, but we can take it offline.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Got it. All right, I think we have covered a lot. So very interesting again, and I think you did a phenomenal job at the holiday party. I think inspiring people. We have actually published a podcast. So we have a podcast series that we started last year. We've done about 4 or 5 of them. And we have converted your, so we published a video.
I saw the audio. I read the audio. I heard the audio.
Okay, you saw the podcast?
I got the notification, so I heard that.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. And no, it's if I can contribute to the Indian community over here with my experiences, I'd be delighted to. Because at one time I was one of those people who were saying, "What do I do? How do I handle this?" And I could have used mentors, etc. And if I can be one of them and help in a meaningful manner, I'll be happy to have a conversation.
Okay, very good, very good.
But and also, if you can make this recording available to me, if that's okay with you, that'll be great. If you can make this recording available to me, that'll be great too.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I will create a private. I'll create a Google Drive or something where I can share this with you.
And then second is, if you have any other additional questions or you want information of a particular type, just let me know. I'll be happy to either provide those questions, answer to you, or get on a call with you. So don't hesitate. If the story has some gaps, etc., happy to.
Yeah, that's I can even put it down in writing. Yeah, that would be helpful. Yeah. And then I definitely looking forward to using the app because I think I have a personal need for it. So I'm happy to provide feedback as I start using it and so forth.
Yeah, and if there are any issues, let me know. I'll take care of it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for entertaining me and including me in your book. So I appreciate that very much. And again, don't hesitate to call me.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.